Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and today it's about answering your questions. And the questions today are all centered around healthy eating. We're going to be discussing PCOS, plant-based diet, and so much more. I'm so glad you joined us. Before we get started, please go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell so you and I can stay connected. Now, if you're wondering how do you get your questions answered, join us on our Facebook page, Biblical Nutrition Academy. We also have a Biblical Nutrition Academy where you can go and learn God's recipe for excellent health. That's where you really get to do some deep dives in understanding how God designed your body and the foods that are going to benefit it. Such great teaching in there. But always remember, the number one ingredient to the recipe for God's excellent health begins with the fact that God loves you. He loves you so much. He will never leave you or forsake you. Now, let's get started. Question number one, how to keep my family healthy without them feeling that I'm taking the, quote, good food away. Plus, my daughters and I have PCOS and we need support. This was submitted by Jessica. Okay, Jessica, first let's define, quote, good. Is it a flavor or an experience? Or is it being drug-free, no prescriptions from the age 1 to 91? Is it being able to go walking and leaping and praising God? Is it to see God's handiwork in the foods that He created for our bodies to heal and to sustain energy? Maybe you could say good is to see God's handiwork on our body so we can live with good moods and normal hormones. Or is it about foods that really just create that strong craving that you can't stop and it causes you to overeat? Or is it about foods that make you hungry when you're not really hungry? Is it about foods that create unhealthy cells that cause havoc with your hormones? And havoc with your hormones is what leads to PCOS. So I would suggest sitting down with your family at the table, give each person a piece of paper, and have them write down how they feel physically, spiritually, and mentally. And be honest. If one or more persons are dealing with PCOS, then they are on the road to unhappy days and more challenges to come. This is the beginning to long-term health problems. PCOS in the medical field is termed idiopathic. It means they don't know where it came from. They don't know why it's happening. But they do know they've got some prescriptions that will help you with the symptoms. But here's what happens when we change the diet, remove the chemicals from the home, remove chemicals from beauty products, get rid of sugar from the diet, we add in good minimum exercise program, we lessen sustaining stress factors. The symptoms start to lessen, and in many situations go totally away, especially when we heal the microbiome. Yet the medical community is going to continue to say, well, we don't know what causes it, and we have some treatment options that you can take for the rest of your life. So you get to choose what is the good that you're looking for. Before you start on medications, change your diet to real foods, no processed foods at all. Clean up the stresses in life. Start focusing on God's Word first instead of the media or social media. Limit sugar to maybe just a once-a-week treat. Once this happens and you start to see and feel the changes that are taking place, then re-identify what is good food. When your family recognizes that, quote, good food created in a lab is not good for you beyond flavor, which only lasts 3 minutes. And after you eat that and you experience that flavor for just a short time, your body has to deal with the aftermath. And PCOS is the aftermath affair. Question number 2. With pollution and contamination of raw materials, is it possible to have healthy living in this era? Submitted by Elaine. The answer is yes. We're not living in biblical days, but we can trust God to help us make good choices and eat a healthful diet. So with every shopping trip, it is a prayer. To pray and choose wisely and invest smartly, especially for our health. There are foods in these large chain stores that are confirmed harmful with chemical sprays, such as glyphosate and pesticides. Now, eating from boxes and prepared foods is always going to be a challenge. Many of the ingredients that go into the processing, the preparation of that food is not listed on the label, so we don't even know everything that goes into making of that food. Eating foods that you know the source, you know the grower, you know the farmer, is always going to be your best option. Learn to cook from basics. We used to call it scratch, but it's really just basics. Homemade will allow more options for being in control of your food. Never give up. Never give in. God is greater than any company out there, any pharmaceutical company, manufacturer company. The more we disconnect from large companies and start trusting and searching for small farmers, if possible, I know a lot of you keep emailing me, that's not possible, and I get that. But yet that's the more we get in control of our health. Make this a matter of prayer. Buy seeds now for next year. Learn to cook and enjoy it. It's not as laborious activity as some people make it out to. It can be an activity of showing your family how much you love them. I wish someone would have encouraged me when my kids were young. I mean, I loved cooking. I've always loved cooking, and I would just jump to the Campbell's soup and mix it with some noodles, top it with cheese, and there's dinner. So I could have saved so many major health challenges if I'd have known how to just cook from basics. And my mom would have taught me. I just didn't think to ask. So now, to all the young moms watching, I am here to encourage you. Let me know what you need from me to make this possible. I am there for you. Question number 3. I've been trying to eat healthier. However, there's so many fads out there and access to, quote, clean food. How do I just keep it simple and healthy? Submitted by Carrie. Okay, start with the 3 principles. Write them out. Number 1, eat the foods God called good. Read about this in Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Number 2, eat the foods as close to God's design before altering beyond any healthful benefit. Read Exodus 15:26. And number 3, don't let any food or just food in general become your God or an addiction. Read Isaiah 58:8. Fads are going to continue to come and go. It's just what goes on in our time. Let God lead you through this. Your challenge is more mental and spiritual than it is physical. Use the 7 steps to amazing biblical health to get you started. And then move on to the 40-day transformation. It's going to walk you through the mental and spiritual changes that we need to take place for us to learn the simple and the healthy. It works, and your body's going to love you for every step. It works, and your walk with the Lord is going to be even more encouraged. Great question. Thanks for asking. Question number 4. How do you feel about a plant-based diet for healing? Submitted by Carol. Well, since it is the first official plan of eating set forth by God, I'm pretty convinced it's very helpful. It is very helpful to keep in mind, though, where was the food grown, what chemicals were used in growing it and processing it, and how many people touch the food that you're going to put in your mouth. This is a very interesting situation. Every plant has protein. Every plant has helpful carbs. And some plants give us essential fatty acids. Well, that is the trio combination for creating healthy cells. So when we give our cells what they need, the cells can then do what they were designed by our Creator. Now, there are people that benefit greatly from having meat in their diet, and God definitely gave us meat. Jesus ate meat. For those who benefit from this addition, then again, it matters who's been touching your food. How is it raised, and how much are you eating? Okay, so these are just fantastic questions. And let me just expound just a little bit more about who's been touching your food. Here's kind of how I look at processed food. To me, processed food is like you're at the World Series, your favorite team is playing, and you are at the pitcher's mound at the dinner table, seated with your family, and the stadium is full, getting ready for the first pitch to be thrown. Okay, that's a little intimidating. Everyone in the stadium has touched your food that you're getting ready to eat. When you eat processed foods, thousands of scientists have developed the flavor. Thousands of scientists have developed the different chemicals to combine for the texture. Thousands of scientists have gone into the combination factor. Then you've got the farmers, the processors, manufacturers, you got the marketing. There's thousands of people. That entire stadium is filled with people who have touched your food or had an input into your food. That's what I think of when I think of processed foods. And to me, it just does not turn me on at all. It's like, that does not excite me to want to eat processed food. Does the flavor overstimulate my taste buds and say, wow, that's really good? Yes and no. Sometimes in the beginning it used to greatly, but now as I really have enjoyed eating real food, the cookies that I make, they just taste so real. And then if you were to, I always pick on Chips Ahoy. If you eat a Chips Ahoy, it tastes like cardboard. And I know someone commented recently, have you eaten cardboard? Well, I have tasted it, just trying to tear something off. So, I don't eat it, but there's no flavor. It's just hard. But my cookies are good. So, real food given to us by a God who loves us, and then being smart about our investment at the grocery store, or our investment at the local farmer's market, or investing in seeds and growing food yourself. So much can be done to change the health of your body. We are not outside of God's grace. God is still there. He can still change every cell in your body. He can heal you completely, and He loves you. He is the one true God. He loves you, and He loves you with an everlasting love. And He is always there for you. He promises us that in Hebrews. I am Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. Please share this video with 3 other people. And don't forget to check out biblicalnutritionacademy.com, where we have all of our courses on how to understand God's recipe for excellent health. And when you're ready, I hope to see you in the inner circle where we can do personal coaching. I am here to serve you. I enjoy seeing you, reading your comments as much as I can, and understanding that God is at work all around the world. Never give up. He always loves you. Thanks for watching.